that making any sense?
Did you want to do it twice?
So we start with B, we sing one verse A, we sing B again, normal, and then the second B is the storm. Yeah. Should I sing the last two B's? Almost.
in the service. Right now we see our.
No,
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך העליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך העליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות. עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון וכינור. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות. עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון וכינור.
Shabbat Shalom. Spring is in full bloom here in New York City. Magnolias, tulips, cherries, and leaves on the trees abound. It is as if nature has timed one of its most beautiful stages to coincide with tonight's celebration of Rabbi Ari Lorge's 10 years of service to our community. Mazel Tov, Rabbi Lorge, to you and Alexis and Emmett and your beautiful family who has joined us today, traveling from near and far. Nature, no doubt, is also joining with us as we reflect and rejoice on the 75th anniversary of Israel's independence. Our opening song, which is sung by our friends in Tel Aviv on the shore of the Mediterranean Sea as Shabbat enters, is part of the recognition of our celebration of this milestone birthday. I'm Maurice Solf, so happy to be joined by my clergy colleagues. I'm so excited. I'm putting words in front of the others this evening. Our senior rabbi, Angela Bukta, our senior cantor, Daniel Mutlu, and cantor Genter Pearsall. All three of you fresh off the most magnificent and extraordinary cabaret performance this week. Congratulations, and thank you for the gift that you gave us of that beautiful show and music. Also with us tonight, Rabbi Ari Lorge, soon to be Rabbi Andrew Mandel, who's joining our synagogue team soon full-time in July, and our Israeli emissary, yes, our shlicha Michal Abramov. We're thrilled that on our bima is our synagogue president, Dr. Shani Silverberg, and we also want to recognize our magnificent musicians, our musical director, David Strickland, our shamashim and technical operation and security teams, all who make it possible for us to be here tonight. Friends of Rabbi Lorge are many here tonight, but we want to recognize as part of them Rabbi Rachel Marks, a friend of yours from childhood, now the rabbi at your childhood synagogue, your grandfather's synagogue, Utomi Temple, Beth Israel in Illinois, and your uncle, Rabbi Don Splansky, is also here. We're honored to be in your presence. And we have friends here visiting from synagogues throughout the country. Congregation Emmanuel, 10th graders with Rabbi Jonathan Singer. Where are you? All right, welcome to New York City. Confirmation students from Central Reform Congregation in St. Louis with Rabbi Randy Fleischer. Where are you? Oh, fantastic. And the confirmation class from the new Reformed Temple in Kansas City with Rabbi Landi. Where are you? All right, good. Thank you for joining us for Shabbat. We have many others in the sanctuary tonight through live streaming. We'd love to give a wave to everyone joining us on JBS and through our website. And let's bring a little more warmth, if possible, to our service by texting someone Shabbat Shalom or turning to someone next to you and wishing them a good Shabbos. To say hello to different friends. We're going to welcome to the Bima now to light our Shabbat candles, loved ones of our B'nai Mitzvah, Mallory and Jeff Cohen, Marilyn Georgeson, Lisa Montgomery, and David Leibowitz. Please join us up ahead. And as you do, we also want to welcome Jeff Grant, one of our dedicated members who is volunteering with our Central Welcome Project to place a note of tzedek into our tzedek box. It's coming. You guys can come up with Rabbi Lord to light the candles. Aspects of our community is that we're a singing community. So even if you're here for the first time, we're counting on you to sing with us as we welcome in Shabbat. We start or continue with our Kabbalat Shabbat Psalm 96, Shir Adonai, on the second page of our order of service, or on page 13.
Shir Adonai, Shir Chadash. Adonai kol haaretz, Shir Adonai baruch shemo, basru miyom leyom Yeshuato, Shir Adonai, Shir Chadash, Shir Adonai. Adonai baruch shemo, basru miyom leyom Yeshuato, sapru v'goyim kevodo, v'chol ha'amim nifleoto, ki gadol Adonai
page 20 for Lacha Dodi, singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach the final verse, we will welcome in Shabbat symbolically by turning towards the entrance of our synagogue.
Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nekabel, yalalai l'chadodi, yalalai l'krat kala, yalalai b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nekabel, shamor v'sachor, b'dibur echad, hishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet, v'litila. Yalalai, yalalai l'chadodi, yalalai l'krat kala, yalalai b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nekabel.
לקראת שבת, לכו בלבך, כי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם לסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. Yalalai l'chadodi, yalalai l'krat kala, yalalai b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. yalalai l'chadodi, yalalai l'krat kala, yalalai b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. בואי בשלום, עטרת מעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה,
Let's hear 1,000 people singing. Oh, beautiful.
b'nei Shabbat nekabel.
remain standing and turn to page 146 for Baruch Hu. Please be seated. And join me on page 147 in the Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah poteach sha'arim, u'bidvuna meshane itim, u'machalif et hazmanim, misader et hakochavim, b'mishmeroteim barakia kirtsono, bore yom v'layla, kolel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or.
Umhavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uven laila, Adonai tzivaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv aravim.
In each age we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment we are addressed by the world.
In each age we are challenged by our ancient teaching. At each moment we stand face to face with Torah.
In each age we add our wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment the knowing heart is filled with wonder.
In each age the children of Torah become its builders
And seek to set the world firm on a foundation of truth.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'otecha v'haynu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'divarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'mlechtecha v'derech u'shokbecha u'kubecha u'shartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot be'einecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Page 152, we sing our song of freedom, Mi Chamocha.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נור התחילות אוסף אליהם מי כמוך
pleased to welcome to the podium Debbie Palmer.
Shabbat Shalom. When I heard Ari's first sermon at Rosh Hashanah in September of 2013, shortly after his ordination and coming to Central, about listening to the stories of his beloved grandfather, Rabbi Ernst Lorge of blessed memory, and the importance of sharing our stories so they become our collective spoken Jewish history, our legacy, I was convinced that, to quote Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars, the Force is strong with this one. In the years since that first memorable sermon, we've had the honor of listening and learning and watching and growing along with Ari. Perhaps not the beard so much, but in slightly more profound ways. On the bima, he's as comfortable with the way he gently folds his talit on his shoulders each week at Shabbat as he is rocking an Obi-Wan Kenobi robe at Purim. Whether he's in his kitchen pickling something or sending hundreds of letters to effect social change, his words and his deeds remind us to listen to our better social justice angels and even gives us the tools to make it happen. For our family, Ari and Alexis have become family by choice. When Ari first came to New York and had no family here, we were thrilled to open our home to him at the holidays. But I will never forget meeting Ari's parents, Susie and Michael, for the first time. Upon being introduced to his mom, I said, "You know, we love your son very much." To which his mom smiled and said, "Yes, but I love him more." A gentle reminder from one Jewish mother to another, and the rest requires no further explanation. Tonight, we gather to Shep Nachas and share some of the many ways your presence these past 10 years has so deeply touched us. Ari, this Central community considers us your extended family as well. We appreciate your deep understanding of life's joys and its pain, the sublime and the serious, and everything in between. You truly embrace Hineni. You are here. We are proud and grateful to have you at our side. Wishing you, Alexis, Emmett, your parents, and your family, Yasher Koach. From strength to strength, Ari. Thank you for being our rabbi and our friend. Shabbat Shalom.
Hashkivenu is in your order of service.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu malkeinu Behayim. trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Shalom, V'hamidenu Malkeinu.
Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Shalom, V'hamidenu Malkeinu
Tefillah is on page 155. Please rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi tehillatcha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hadorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim v'Todim, v'Konei HaKol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imot, ומביא גאולה לפני פניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו משני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך מביט ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Each prayer service provides us the opportunity to pray the personal words within our own hearts and minds. Now is that time. We'll do so silently. You may also use the words found within our prayer book to page 167, and you may be seated or remain standing, as is your preference. pleased to welcome to our podium Alexandra Burrell.
Not everyone can say that they've pickled with the rabbi, but I can. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Not everyone can say that they've pickled with the rabbi, but I can. But I was asked to talk about Ari as a confirmation teacher, not as Rabbi What's the Deal, his famous Instagram handle. As a confirmation student in a time when teenagers are grappling with questions of identity and purpose, a knowledgeable and compassionate teacher can help them explore their beliefs and values in a supportive environment. This can be especially important for Jewish teens who feel isolated or unsure about their place in a predominantly non-Jewish culture. In Ari's case, this comes in so many forms. A warm smile when you show up for class, a tender hand on the shoulder when chanting from the Torah and losing your place, or a knowing chuckle when something crazy happens on a trip and you've been busted. Ari being the voice of reason and sometimes even discipline makes it so much better, more comforting, and definitely more fun. In my family, when the rabbi talks to you on the bima during your bar bat mitzvah service or confirmation service, we call this the Lion King moment. Ari spoke to me for my Lion King confirmation moment. I have a pact with my two older brothers that we never share these private moments with our very curious parents, so while I can't go into detail, let me just say this. Getting blessed by Ari felt transcendent. He is so thoughtful and deliberate. Each and every word held such meaning. That's the thing about Ari. He makes you feel seen and special and very much like you count. I remember thinking, how did I get so lucky to have hit the rabbi lottery with Ari doing my blessing when, in fact, growing up at Central is already a rabbi lottery bonanza. It was more than just a blessing. It was an honor and a privilege to have this kind man, a role model, share this moment with me. Ari, while there's no way to adequately express the impact you have had on me and the synagogue, there are not enough thank yous in the universe, so I will simply say, we are the luckiest recipients of your love and care and guidance, and you have dedicated yourself to this community this past decade, and we hope you will stay for years and years to come. We love you, Rabbi Lorge.
Students, we ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say Amen.
And for those who study Torah here and everywhere, may they be blessed with all they need, and let us say Amen. We pray for peace and loving kindness, and let us say Amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say Amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say Amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say Amen.
When the children of Israel contracted skin disease, they were instructed to go around saying, Tameh, Tameh, announcing their affliction. Why? The Talmud teaches that they are enlisting others to pray for them. But in order for that to work, everyone else needs to listen, needs to notice. Let's make sure that we are paying attention to those in our community who are in need of healing, of body, of mind, or of spirit. We lift up those in our Central Synagogue community who require our care: Nancy Goldstein, Howard Caskell, Jerry Shapiro, Joel Weschler. Consider those in your life who need your love and support. Please now join us in the Mishaberach, found under order of service.
Healer of the brokenhearted, binder of their wounds, counter of uncountable stars, you know who they are. Healer of the brokenhearted, binder of our wounds, counter of uncountable stars, you know whom we are.
It's important to speak up when you are in need. And it is also important to speak up when there is goodness in your life so that we can share in that good news. So let's do that now. If you are becoming B'nai Mitzvah or are celebrating with one of our fine young students, I invite you to rise in body or in spirit. If you are visiting Central Synagogue for the first time, we're thrilled to have you and invite you to rise so our regulars can greet you later. If it was your birthday this past week or in the week ahead, or perhaps you're celebrating another special person in your life through an upcoming wedding or an anniversary or a new baby, I invite you to rise. Speaking of birthdays, if you are preparing to celebrate the promise and possibility of Israel on its 75th birthday, I invite you to rise. And speaking of anniversaries, if you are raising a pickle to celebrate our dill-loving Rabbi Ari Lorge on his 10th anniversary at Central Synagogue, I invite you to rise. And if you are simply happy to be celebrating Shabbat with us on our sanctuary or in your corner of planet Earth, I invite you to rise so we can sing Shehechianu together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu
blessings continue as I'd like to call up Lily Goldstein and Jacob Leisman for a blessing before the ark. Lily and Jacob, I am a little overwhelmed being up here with you for so many reasons. When I was just a college student, I co-officiated a wedding, my first, with Rabbi Rick Jacobs for your parents, Lily. And then I got to be a rabbi for your family when you were growing up in Scarsdale. And now this wedding of yours is a first for me as a rabbi, the first time I'm officiating the child whose parents I also married, which is just amazing, and they're here. I don't think I'm old enough for that. But it is also particularly sweet as a rabbi to officiate for colleagues. The week before you get married in May, you will both be ordained as rabbis by the Hebrew Union College, where I was also ordained. I know, it's like, It is such a privilege to bless two remarkable people who are dedicating themselves to serving the Jewish people. And your story is such a central story. 18 years ago, Rabbi Rubenstein founded a full-time teachers program to radically improve our religious school, and it did. 10 years in, we learned that there was another very important mission that it was serving, because nearly 90% of our full-time teachers were going on to become Jewish professionals. Lily and Jacob, you met in the interview process to become full-time teachers here over 7 years ago. Jacob, you were already accepted to HUC, but you postponed it a year very early on to give this relationship a shot. And you spent together over 50 hours. You spent over 50 hours a week in cubicles right next to each other, and you still wanted to spend time together after work. And then you went off to Israel together. Your relationship deepened as you learned and grew together. And then this June, as new rabbis, newly married, you will set off to Chicago to serve two remarkable congregations. All of us here at Central feel so deeply proud to be a small part of this remarkable story of the two of you. So it's with such full heart and so much love and blessing that I want our whole community to bless the two of you. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha ken yiratz. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka ken yiratz. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha Shalom, Shalom, Keni Ratzon. Mazel tov. Please join us as we bring this Torah out into the community, and I hope you will give a big congratulations to our couple as they walk through.
אתה עלינו, אתה עלינו, אתה עלינו. אתה עלינו, אתה עלינו, אתה עלינו. כבר חרשנו וגם צרנו, כבר חרשנו וגם צרנו, אבל לא קצנו, אבל לא קצנו, אבל לא קצנו, אבל לא קצנו. ציינה ציינה הבנות ורינה חיילים במושבה. ציינה 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 הבנות ורינה חיילים במושבה. ציינה 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 חיילים במושבה. ציינה 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 חיילים במושבה. Tsena, 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 הבנות ולנה חיילים במושבה. ציינה, 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 הבנות ולנה חיילים במושבה. ציינה, 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 חיילים במושבה. ציינה, 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 חיילים במושבה. ציינה, 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 ארץ זבת חלב, חלב ודבש, 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 ארץ זבת חלב, זבת חלב ודבש, ארץ זבת חלב, זבת חלב ודבש, ארץ זבת חלב, 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 זבת חלב ודבש, ארץ זבת חלב, זבת חלב ודבש, ארץ זבת חלב, 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 זבת חלב ודבש, ארץ זבת חלב, זבת חלב ודבש. זבת חלב, חלב ודבש, ארץ 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 זבת חלב, זבת חלב ודבש, ארץ זבת חלב, זבת חלב ודבש.
Please be seated. Want to tell them what we're reading?
We are reading
from the beginning of the portion of Tazria, Leviticus chapter 12, verse 1 through 4. I don't know if somebody has a page number on their order of service. It is on your order of service.
Yes, I think it is. But while we're looking for that, I'd like to call it for the honor of the Aliyah, Rabbi Lorge's family, parents, Alexis, siblings, if we could have you come up, and all the beautiful kids, too.
Page 826, if you want to follow along in your Plout commentary.
Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Daber el bnei Israel lemor. Isha ki tazria be'alda zachar v'tima shivat yamim ki med nidat devotat titmaha. וביום השמיני ימול בשר עולתו, ושלושים יום ושלושת ימים תשב בדמי טהרה, בכל קודש לא תיגע, ואל המקדש לא תבוא, עד מלאת ימי טהרה.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Natan Lanu Torat Emet V'chayei Olam Nata B'tochenu Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. To Rabbi Lorge's family, we want to just say thank you for raising this magnificent human being and entrusting us with him as our rabbi, and we also just want to say that we love you by extension of loving him, and we're really honored that you came. So thank you for allowing us this blessing of honoring you for this gift of Rabbi Ari Lorge. We rise together to honor our Torah.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל, על פי אדוני ביד משה. יאי לי 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 לי
Please be seated. There is a midrash, a rabbinic teaching from the Talmud, that says that while a baby is in the womb, it sees and knows the entirety of the Torah from beginning to end. But just as a baby emerges, an angel comes and touches right above the lip, creating this indent called a philtrum, which causes us to forget everything. We spend our lifetimes relearning what we once knew. 10 years ago, when a 26-year-old, fresh-faced, newly minted rabbi named Ari Lorge came to Central, and I observed him, I began to suspect maybe the angel never got to him. It's hard to check if Rabbi Lorge indeed has a philtrum because his beard covers up that spot. But you need not look at the physical proof. You can just go with the circumstantial evidence. Like his first high holiday sermon, to which he received a standing ovation as a 26-year-old new rabbi. His encyclopedic knowledge of Jewish texts and his gift for teaching them and unpacking them. His propensity to read sermons of 19th century Reform rabbis for fun. His retro Lower East Side pickling pastime. There's really only one explanation for Ari's old soul. The angel missed him. And so all his Torah and all that wisdom remained from the start, confirming what I suspected, that Ari Lorge was born a rabbi. Now, Ari, it is possible that it wasn't just the doing of that angel. Your grandfather, Ernst, was a legendary rabbi who fled Nazi Germany in the 30s and served as an army chaplain in World War II with distinction. Your uncle and your cousin are esteemed rabbis. Your parents took Judaism very seriously and were teachers and lay leaders in their Chicago community. We thank the extended Lorge family for all you did to raise this precocious baby rabbi in your midst. But even born rabbis can continue to grow. And it has been such a joy and a deep privilege to watch over the last 10 years how you have honed your moral prophetic voice on this bema, to see how you care for our congregants from confirmand to convert, to watch you find your life partner Alexis, to marvel at what amazing parents you are to Emmett. Your numerous gifts have earned the respect and admiration and deep love of all of us here at Central, as attested by this overflowing crowd tonight. But even beyond, you have earned a reputation on the national stage. And for me personally, I just want to say how deeply grateful I am to have you as a colleague. You are my go-to for rabbinic text. You are my trusted confidant for wise counsel. And of course, you are a reliable font of wickedly good humor. Once, a long time ago, everyone had all the Torah inside us, but then we forgot it. But it has been such a blessing to relearn the gifts of our tradition with you, Rabbi Lorge.
I think even if that angel misses us, they don't help us with Tazria Mitzora. And so to our B'nai Mitzvah, I feel for you in this moment. If you meet someone and there's only one Hebrew phrase that they know, one exclamation that maybe even if they've never met someone who's Jewish, they can still recite, if there's one Hebrew idiom that is so ubiquitous, it just had to be the title of the showstopper number in the world's most iconic musical about Jews, what would that idiom be? L'chaim, to life. There just is nothing more Jewish than that. And it's exactly that sentiment that leads commentators to puzzle over the opening details in this week's Torah portion. We learn that birth creates impurity. And this seems incongruous with all that Judaism stands for. Life is the principle that supersedes all others. So how can the creation of life cause impurity? One commentator, Rabbi S. Ludmir, wisely notes, life alone is not the true end in and of itself. Life can be squandered if it is unexamined or lived selfishly. And even worse, life can be devoted to wicked or destructive aims. Yes, God endowed every human being with dignity, but what we do with that dignity and the one life that we get to live matters. Jews may venerate and value life, but not for its own sake. We do so for the potential it holds to serve God and to perform godly acts. Martin Buber said it this way: God does not want to be believed in, to be debated or defended by us, but simply to be realized through us. And for thousands of years, congregational communities have been the venues wherein we sanctify our lives by taking actions that make God manifest in the lives of others. I learned on my very first visit to Central Synagogue that this was a community that took that core tenet of Judaism seriously. I was running late, which many of you know means for me I was only 5 minutes early. I was wandering around the sanctuary looking for where I was supposed to be, and I finally found that there was a community house across the street. I walked over and was met there by a beloved member of our security team, Atzmon. I know. But I didn't know him yet, so I didn't have that reaction. I was nervous. He stopped me at the entrance and he asked me who I was and what I was doing there, and I replied very sheepishly that I was interviewing to be the possible, maybe new associate assistant rabbi. He stopped, he sized me up, and he said, "If you want to be a rabbi here, the first thing you have to know is that we take care of each other." And I stood there stunned, thinking that this has to be a pretty special place if the security guard can so forcefully and vocally share what this community was about. And his words moved me at the time. But after serving this congregation for 10 years, what moves me more are the ways that we act and prove his words true. We take care of each other. And each of us might glimpse a little bit of it here or there, but one of the incredible privileges of being a rabbi is having a vantage point to really be able to see so much of this godly work in this congregation. Watching the quiet and unassuming ways that we show up for one another around illnesses or loss, how members will rally around folks in the community when needs arise, like a ride to school or shul, looking after kids, bringing groceries to a neighbor, visiting folks in the hospital, or a hug in a moment of turmoil. Seeing the many volunteers come forward to call every single member of this congregation during the pandemic multiple times, and how time and time again, when tragedy strikes another community elsewhere, our synagogue wants to know how we can provide relief to them. And then there is the deep understanding in this congregation that taking care of each other means more than just serving our own, but also ensuring that, like Avraham and Sarah, like our matriarchs and patriarchs, that we care for all of those in our orbit. Resettling refugee families, helping the formerly incarcerated re-enter society, mentoring teens, teaching English to immigrants, creating and sustaining a community fridge, and serving meals to those in need week in and week out. I marvel at the quiet, anonymous, daily acts of goodness performed by our community. Each of these acts reveals God's goodness in this world. And you may have other language for it when you're doing it. I know some of you do because we've argued about it. But Judaism's assertion is that that is exactly what we are doing, nothing less than that. Every moment of choosing, every time we reach for kindness or the loving thing, we shoulder the responsibility and the privilege of making God real. For 10 years, I have been one of the luckiest rabbis in the world. I am part of this congregation that is so devoted to that great Jewish mission, not living for some hereafter, but living so that we can make this world, our lives, and those around us as close to Eden as we can. Judaism is so wise to know that we cannot do this work without a community that has a shared vision, a deep sense of dreaming and daring, and with hearts that are open and adamantine. I'm so very humbled to be honored for these 10 years of service and for the beautiful words that were shared, and publicly and privately. But this is not solitary work. We do this together. And for fear that Dave may play me off if I linger too long at the podium, but luckily he's at the organ and it doesn't sound nearly as good, I'll just beg everyone's indulgence for just a few moments of gratitude. First to Emmett, who is hopefully asleep at home, and to Alexis, I love you so much. I'll simply quote from the tradition, Shali v'shalachem shalahu. All that I am and all that I have to give it's because of you. I want to say to my parents, you showed me the beauty and power of this heritage. You encouraged me on this path, even when it led out of the Midwest. And I am so thankful for all of it. To my sisters and the rest of my family and my friends who are here, thank you so much for all of the support. You are my rocks and my strengths. Rabbi Buchtal, you are my consummate teacher, guide, and compass. There is a rabbinic saying that if you want to know how well a Torah scholar has learned, don't test their knowledge, watch their actions. And we are in awe of your actions, and I know all of us are incredibly, incredibly proud to be part of this community with you at the helm and at the head. And I want to thank you for not just guiding my rabbinate, but for being my rabbi, and for being for and with my family in our highest moments and our difficulties, and always a support. Thank you. My gratitude also to Rabbi Rubenstein for his generosity in my first year and for all of his friendship beyond it. Marcia Caban, I want to just say that you are a constant support, and I am beyond grateful for all of the ways that you've helped me become so much of a more adept leader at all of the things they don't teach you in rabbinical school, but you need to know. I'm so grateful for your friendship and support. And also to Livia Thompson, I thank you for your guidance and care then and now. During these 10 years, I have been fortunate enough to work alongside incredible members of Central's clergy team, some of whom are here and some of whom are shepherding 8th and 9th graders through Arizona and all over other places. And I would simply say to all of them, I want to thank you for your camaraderie, for the laughter, for sharing your strengths and passions and your commitment with me. We are, what was it, a lottery of, I forget exactly how Alex put it, like a lottery of, that's the one. I've also learned an incredible amount of practical rabbinics on the job, in great part thanks to the incredible board of trustees and our lay leadership here at Central Synagogue. I share a tremendous amount of gratitude to all of the current and former members of our board. And I just have to say that you are the backbone of this community. These are leaders whose menschlichkeit and devotion to this community and to the Jewish world knows no bounds. And during my tenure, they have been led bravely, boldly, and with wisdom by David Edelson, Abby Pogreben, Jeremy Fielding, and Shawnee Silverberg, all of whom have dedicated more time and energy to this community than you could even be aware, and I know that even I could be aware. And I would just ask us, really and truly, to say Yasher Koach to them. Thank you. And Central is blessed to have a staff that is invested in our mission and purpose, and on all levels, incredible professionals with huge hearts. I feel so lucky to work alongside all of you. And finally, I would just like to thank you, this congregation, for welcoming me into this community and weaving me into our shared story. You are what make this congregation extraordinary, and your kindnesses are what made New York City feel like a home to me when I feared I would be a stranger in a strange land. But now our chapters are bound up together. Ours is a grand narrative, rooted in kindness, enlarged by fortitude and tenacity, enriched by sacrifice and toil, and magnified by love and compassion. As we look forward, I share the same blessing I offered at that first Rosh Hashanah. May the stories that we author together be like seeds of goodness and greatness that sprout forth on some distant day to inspire a new generation. I am so grateful to all of you. Thank you.
Absolutely. He wants to know if he can stay. Oh, there we go. Ari, it is both my pleasure and my honor to speak this evening on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the entire congregation, to offer you some words of praise, gratitude, and congratulations. They only gave me a minute and a half, so pretty fast. First, the praise. Ari, as we have already heard, you started out pretty terrific. But you have really grown exponentially in your time with us. You have taken on more and more responsibilities here at Central. You have become a great sermonizer, pastoral care provider, coordinator of the High Holidays Liturgy Program, teacher, and head of our confirmation program. And you have done each of these things at the highest level. Next, the gratitude. We are so grateful that you have chosen to make Central your rabbinic home. As the flight attendants say before landing, we know you have choices in airlines, or in this case, synagogues. And we are so grateful that you have chosen to pursue your rabbinate here with us. And finally, the congratulations. And here I congratulate you, but I also congratulate us. We are marking 10 years of your tenure, and we look forward to the next 10. And to make sure that you are rested and restored for the journey ahead, we are sending you and Alexis away for a long weekend. Thank you, and Mazel Tov.
So I'd like to invite up any of the other Central clergy colleagues who are here to join up on the bima. We're going to put this Torah in your hands, and stand up here, Rabbi, if you don't mind, and invite you to hold it, and invite my colleagues to come up, and invite the congregation to rise, because I think we all want to offer blessing. So we invite, Nicole's coming down. Come on in, come in close. And if we could all just offer these words of priestly benediction, come on in, Michal, together. You know your part is to say, Ken Yehi Ratzon, and then it's as if we've all done it. And as you have taken this Torah and shared it with us, let us bring some of this Torah and blessing back to you. I want to make sure we wait for Nicole to come down. I know she was right there. There we go.
Yivarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
You know your part, Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom.
Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Yasem
We remain standing as we bring our Torah back to the ark. Please be seated.
שלא ייגמר לעולם, החול והים, רשרוש של המים, ברק השמיים, תפילת
As we approach Yom HaZikaron, we mourn those who died in battle and in terror, in sacrifice and in pain. We also think of the loved ones in our personal lives who are no longer physically with us, but whose legacies we carry every day in our hearts and through our deeds. We name those whom death has taken recently from our Central Synagogue community. Eleanor Brenner, Mort Schwatzky, Robert Davis, Michael Gerber, Edith Rosenwald Goldman, Roger Gottheimer, Norma Hirsch, Helen Horn, Phyllis Landau, Sarah Lease, Edward Meyer, Jerome Jerry Mottolo, Wallace Wally Musoff, Lloyd Needle, Marjorie Oberlander, Nikki Peck, David Pressman, Floyd Runninghawk, Mary Ellen Salop, David Siegel, Martin Singerman, Pamela Swerdlick, Janet Doris Turr, and those whose yahrzeits occur in this season: Ronald Alpert, Arlene Bagg, Jerome Ball, Tom Bernstein, Joan M. Bondi, Anna Brudner, Robert Berger, Maurice Carter, Jack Carver, Alexander Cohen, Morty Cohen, Erlindo Contreras, Faith Cutler, Bea Drexler, Irving Eisenbaum, Alberto Felkman, Arthur Fisher, Merton Fior, Barbara Foreman, Alan Fox, Beverly Frank, Francis Freilicher, Eugene Friedman, Tilly Garrell, Cy Geyer, Sina Gelman, Robert M. Glasser, Herman Glickman, Gerald Gold, Charlotte Grant, David Greenberg, Sheldon Greenberg, George Greenhouse, James Greenwald, Hans Gunderson, Alan Hochberg, David Hofstein, Frank Hordern, Edith Kahn, Violet Levy Kamara, Leonard Katz, Samuel Kaufman, Robert Kay, Staniel Kessler, Fanny Konigswald, Charles Kremer, Jay Lieberman, Eric Loeb, Blanca Nieves Maradiaga, Robert McAuliffe, Ross McNabb, Robert Michael Meltzer, Joan Messenger, Priscilla Miller, Joan Mischer, Red Morin, Jean Nussbaum, Albert Oren, Richard Propp, Vivian Rankin, Harold Reisman, Peggy Rice, Gina Rose, Bernice Rosenberg, Harold Ross, Marvin Schmidt, Elizabeth Schwartz, Erwin Chevelle, Rhoda Shotkin, Ellen Simon, Barbara Simpson, Lucille Cyrus, S. Merrill Geist, Henry Smith, Rosetta Standig, Adam Steinberg, Marion Strauber, A. Alfred Taubman, Nathan Temkin, Martian Tishman, George Ullman, Julius Weinberger, Abraham Weissman, Pat Weller, Lauren Wells, Alice Wynn, Roberta Witt, Alan Zelnick, Alan Zim, Jonas Sonnenschein. We also remember those who you name aloud or share in the chat at home. If you are in Shiva the first 7 days of mourning, we invite you to rise in body or in spirit so that we can acknowledge you as a mourner. If you are in Shloshim the first 30 days of losing a loved one, we invite you to rise in body or spirit. If you are in Shana, the first year of mourning a loved one, we invite you to rise in body or spirit. If you're observing a yahrzeit, the anniversary of someone's death, we invite you to rise in body or spirit. May the memories of your loved ones be a forever blessing. We rise as one community as we recite the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, bi'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayedechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mivarach le'olam u'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shmei dekudesha b'richu, le'ela b'kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, Hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom once again. Following tonight's service, everyone is welcome to join us downstairs in the pavilion for a festive Oneg Shabbat, celebrating Rabbi Ari Lorge, as well as Yom HaAtzmaut. There will be live music and tasty Israeli food. Our clergy will be joining you downstairs immediately after the service. This Sunday morning, Central members are invited to join us for a trip to the Museum of Jewish Heritage. For information and to register, please look at your email. Please join us for an Upper East Side Yom HaAtzmaut family celebration on Sunday, April 30th, starting at 11 a.m. at Park Avenue Synagogue. Families are invited to join Central Synagogue, Park Avenue Synagogue, and the 92nd Street Y to mark Israel's 75th year of independence. Enjoy Israel-themed games, crafts, music, food, and more. Open to all ages with special activities for children ages 3 to 10. Please visit our website to register. And Mazal Tov to Isabella and Carson. We also invite all our kids under the age of bar bat mitzvah to come up to the bima and help us to lead Kiddush and Motzi blessings. The Kiddush can be found on page 5 of our prayer books.
Just a thank you, special to Alex Brill and Debbie Palmer for joining us, and for our beautiful teen choir for enhancing this service and honoring Rabbi Lorge. It's wonderful. I just also want to put in a plug for Sunday at 4 o'clock. I'm having a conversation with Micha Goodman, an amazing Israeli scholar, philosopher, and political pundit, I guess, and he's going to be right here in the sanctuary. He's really one of my very favorite teachers I've ever learned with. I highly recommend you coming on Sunday as well. Please join with us for Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחי לנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לחיים Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Yeah. We'll sing Bashana Haba'ah. You can find the words in your order of service. בשנה הבאה נשב המרפסת ונספור ציפורים נודדות
ילדים בחופשה ישחקו תופסת בין הבית לבין השדות
עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה.
Please join us downstairs for a festive oneg and to celebrate.